All right, if you can hear me and see me and hear me, it's Wednesday night. B minor here.
X Factor over here.
Let's go. Episode 33. 33, like Larry Bird, the great Larry Bird, number 33.
The one and only, man. That guy was a bucket getter. A bucket getter.
Right-handed, left-handed. He was a little bit different for that era.
Mm-hmm.
He'd worked on it. He knew all the angles off the backboard, right hand, left. I mean, he was just, it was fun to watch him. Larry Bird, Larry Legend. But we have with us another legend, Dan Horwitz, author, educator, motivator, leader, leadership consultant, and an all-around positive, awesome guy. So, Dan, we're excited. Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Brand. X Factor. Very excited for the opportunity to have a conversation with you guys.
For sure. Looking forward to this. Haven't had a chance to read the book. We definitely want to talk about Help Them Up. If you're watching and you have Google it. You can Google it right now. But I was fortunate enough to pick up an autographed copy, so mine's still en route. Route. En route?
En route.
En route. Who would say en route?
En route.
En route.
To be honest, I think I used to say en route, and now I kind of regret it.
Sounds like you're Canadian almost, right? Like gonna go out in the boot in my boat.
En route, eh? We're en route in my boot.
En route. We're en route. Anyways, it's coming. The book is on its way, so I haven't had a chance, but I did get to listen to you on Mike Nielsen's podcast. Shout out Mike Nielsen. And so I'm excited to hear more. Give us a little synopsis, Cliff Notes version of the book.
Yeah. So definitely kind of started off as a passion project. Just something that I'm really passionate about is helping build championship culture teams. So I went to college at Newberry College in Boston, Division III. And while I was there, I was able to go into a lot of really cool basketball gyms. So we had Boston University, Boston College, Harvard, Northeastern, and Tufts, and all of them were super welcoming to me and allowed me to come to practice, work at camp, go to games, whatever it may be. So I just picked their brains and learned a lot of things. And kind of through that, I compiled 14 principles that require no talent at all, and that I believe all players and coaches can implement to build a championship culture, and excited to see the impact it has.
14 different principles. If you follow most of or all those principles, what will that lead to?
Yeah. So for me, I believe if a coach takes the 14 principles and implements them in their culture, I think they'll create an environment where 4 things will happen. 1, every player will feel safe. So they're going to be able to embrace mistakes, knowing that it's part of the growth process and that they're getting better. Number 2 is that they're going to feel valued, and that, regardless if you're the top scorer on the team or you play the least amount of minutes, everybody can add value. You see it a lot now on ESPN, like Monmouth a few years ago, their bench was unbelievable. And those guys, if somebody takes a charge, they feel like they took a charge. And if somebody dives on the ground and gets a loose ball, then you feel like you got a loose ball, because those are your guys. You're going to battle every single day. You're in the dining hall with those guys. And I just think that's such a team sport type of mentality, is just everybody can add value. I see X Factor shaking his head because, but sometimes you're playing, sometimes you're not, but you're still a part of the team. And if they do well, you do well. The other thing is just having a voice. I mean, the best ideas can come from somebody that doesn't play a lot. So I think 15 brains are better than 1. So if everybody feels confident to speak up and empower others, I think that's really important. And the last thing is just feeling joy playing the game of basketball. I listened to Doc Rivers on a Netflix special last night, and he was just talking about playing basketball. It's not practice. He was just playing the game. Loved it. And I think everybody should feel gratitude to be able to step on the court and be physically able to play the game that they love. So those are the 4 things I think will happen if a coach implements the principles.
That's what I'm talking about, man. And you know which one stuck out to me because you saw me nodding my head. Because I feel like when you go out on that basketball court and you put on that jersey, for me, it happens to be the DePaul jersey, but whatever team you play for, you're playing for the whole 40 minutes. and then some, including timeouts or whatever. So more than 40 minutes. But you're playing. I don't care if you're on the court putting the ball in the basket. I don't care if you're on the bench clapping. Like, you're playing. So, hey, get out there and do what you're supposed to do. But I love that, man. I love that. Just stay locked in and have that mindset of like, I need to help my team win no matter what, at all costs. Even if you got to do a cartwheel on the bench, which I will try to do, but I don't think I'm capable.
Yeah. Do you have a go-to at DePaul that, you know, when you're on the bench that you like to do, that you and some of your teammates do?
You know what? A lot of the times I don't get too involved in the whole dancing stuff. I mean, usually they just clap, and I mean they're energetic. But for me, I'm hitting them folks down. I'm doing a little bit of everything. I'm crazy. Just watch a couple games this year, you'll see. Yeah, B minor. I see you, B minor.
Oh, he's got that one. He's got. I mean, and this one's the one that's coming out this year. The X Factor.
My bag's getting deeper and deeper, man. My bag of tricks getting better and better.
Can't wait.
But that's the energy. I love the valued part. That's one thing I really stress as a coach is we want to celebrate every player doing their role. If you're 5'8" and not gonna have as good a chance of putting it in the bucket as somebody else, that doesn't mean you're still can't excel in your role. And if you're encouraging positive energy, pumping people up, then you're doing well in your role. If your role is to come in and facilitate, then you're doing well in your role. So we're going to highlight the guy that gets 6 assists and no turnovers. So I think that everybody feeling valued is such an important quality in a coach, is if they can make everybody feel like they matter and that their voice is heard and that they can say things that they think are going to help make the team better. And at the end of the day, all those things will lead to having a lot better experience and joy.
Absolutely. I think it's really important, like you said, just to make sure everybody's enjoying the experience and does feel valued, because then if 1 through 15 is strong, then I think great things can happen.
What principle is there? Are the principles like ordered in importance, or are they all equal, or how do you handle that in the book? Yeah,
so it kind of starts off, number one is the warm-up. And I don't know if you guys have heard about UConn Woman, but they do a really good job of warming up synchronized. So actually, now that we're like on a camera, I mean, I'm not going to stand up, but basically they're doing a hamstring stretch, and one will yell vanilla, and then they take a few steps and they all go scoop, yep, and then you go strawberry, scoop, and if you look down, they're all like completely in unison, like robotic programmed, and I'm just like, oh, like they're warming up, and there's no reason that everybody can't do that. And so that's how it starts off, is with the warm up, and then it goes into like positive talk, and like I said, everybody adding value and touches, high fives, chest bumps, handshake line. I think that's a really important one. Yale University is the team I talk about for that, and they're just really cool with their beginning of the game. I'm not sure X Factor if you guys do it, but before the game they have a little. They basically jog off the court, and then they dap up the coaches with a fist bump, and then the guy in first in line will turn around, and then you do the whole handshake line. So I'm not sure if you guys do something like that.
Oh, that's sick. I mean, we usually all go and dap up coach before the game, but we don't do the whole spin, and that's cool though. I think we should probably do something like that this year. It's fun.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, Brant, if you've seen anything like that as well, but that's kind of the progression of the principles.
I think that's great. I think that warming up as a team and in unison, and I think the things that I took away from hearing you speak on Mike's podcast was these are things you can do that don't take longer, but maybe we're trying to do that too, is stack drills on top of each other. So instead of just doing a communication drill, we're doing, passing and moving, but you're having to say names, you're having to shout out different things at different times. So you're working on stacking the drills to make it more efficient with your time. So that way you're working on more than just one thing at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I liked when Mike brought that up. It's like you can really get a lot of these principles in with just doing what you usually do, but just being intentional with it.
I think that word intentional is a powerful word, and something that's really, during this pandemic, we've had to be even more intentional about our interactions, because we've had to slow down, and people have had to reach out to others, and there's people that have been waiting And there's people that have been working and meeting people or writing books or just the network, reaching out, meeting new people. We connected and had a great phone conversation. And I was like, man, I love what your energy's about and the message. And I can't wait to get my hand signed copy of this book. And tell them where can you can Google it, Amazon, right?
Yeah, if you go just type help them up and then my name, Dan Horwitz, I think it's right there. And then I have a website, www.danhorwitz.com, where they can get the link there as well.
Let me ask one thing, because do you have to start a website by saying www.
I don't know. That's a great question.
I mean, I don't know either. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I'm pretty old for this. But I never say the www, but my mom and dad always say, oh, what's the website? Is it www.yahoo.com, AOL.com? What do you think?
I think as long as you put the .com part at the end, then it shows up and it'll bring you to the website. But you just have to make sure. I wonder if you put like www.danhorwitz, but you don't put the .com. I wonder if it would pop up.
Well, it could be .edu or there's AU if you're in Australia, I think. I don't know, but I think
Aussie land.
Oi. Daring Leadership, Brene Brown is a great one. I talked about that one today. I actually had a phone call with a friend from Nike, and that Brene Brown book was one she talked about. Have you guys ever heard of the app Libby, Libby?
No,
Libby, it's a library app. So I got a library card today for the first time, which I hate to admit, but it's my first library card since I've been an adult. But you get your library card and then you get access to free audio books. So Libby's the app that you can access your local libraries free. So you like request books. So I got a lot of books now. I was reading or started listening because I get distracted when I'm reading, but the subtle art of not giving up. Have you heard of that one or read that one?
That one I heard of, and I remember I was at the beach and I saw somebody reading that, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, does that say what I think it says?" Right? So it's funny that you bring that up because I do remember that, and I was very confused.
They say the word a lot in the book, so it is entertaining. It's been good so far.
Pretty good word. Very emphasizing word. Very powerful word.
You can use it a lot of different ways too, right?
Endless almost.
You can put it in the middle of words like fantastic, right?
You add a little bit of spice.
It does catch people's attention. I don't use it very often, but when I do, people usually like listen to what I'm saying around. Sometimes it's loud when they don't do what I ask them to do during the drill. But sometimes kids got to know that coach might just lose it. Keep them honest. Keep them honest.
That.
There's only like 2 times I think I lost my composure to where I just blew up on a kid last year. But no, I think that Brene, you're right, Will. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just definitely important because like I'm in higher education and student affairs as a graduate assistant in accessibility services, and we talk a lot about student development a lot. And the one thing that we talk about, is the 7 vectors of Chickering and Razor. A lot where we have to help people like manage their emotions, get people more autonomy towards interdependence, developing integrity as well as developing competence are definitely important stuff with leadership, with working with athletes and people in leadership roles, I think a lot.
So true. So true. I love the handshakes. We do some handshakes. So what we do, we greet every person before every practice. Okay. So we have 2 groups. So what we do is we get coach we'll talk. We all pre-COVID is what we're talking now but we have 41 guys in our program between varsity and JV. Unique basketball situation. But we all link up. Every guy links up. And then coach will talk about, hey, here's what our 3 offensive keys are today, defensive keys. and then he'll call somebody out right across the circle. Then those people on that side form a little circle, and the guys on the other side form a circle, and they go around. You greet every person in that circle, and then you go through and you meet everybody in the other group.
I like that.
So you're getting, most guys got a little handshake that they do with each guy. So that we do that just to start every practice. So you greet everybody, you say, "What's up?" Give them a little dap, a little hug. Some guys are always been the fist bump type. Some guys want to get in there, and
I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
it's a pretty good way to greet every person. So you just go around, you greet everybody in that circle, and then the circles cross.
That's a very good way to get the touches in. That's
A
awesome.
lot of
You can't beat
positive
it.
touches. Gotta greet every player before practice every day. So I think that's a good way to get it started. But talk to us a little bit about things you learned while writing your book. What are some, I mean, obviously you were able to get a lot of the nuggets into the book, but is there anything that you've learned since writing the book?
In regard to like the content or the process or either?
That's a great, yeah. I was thinking more about like the process of like writing a book.
Okay. Yeah, so it's actually been really cool. So there's a few kids that I've coached locally here in Connecticut, and two of the dads reached out and were like, "Hey man, like this is so cool. I've been wanting to write a book. I thought like I have a lot of it written down, but I haven't really taken that next step. But I think because of you doing this, it's like going to inspire me to actually do it." And I was like, "That's so cool. Like these are obviously, grown men, and the fact that I can hopefully inspire them and support them now that I did it was really cool." So I wrote a blog post that was 14 steps to write a write a book, and I did it through Amazon KDP. So I've sent that out to a few other people, but I would say the best part of the process was I got to involve like my people, like my circle, and I made a Google Doc, and they were able to make edits on it, and like, "Hey, I think you should maybe add this story," or "I really like that," or maybe say this differently. And so I'm like, my favorite people, it was like my starting five. I had 5 people that went through it, and it was just so nice to connect with them. And it started off as like 20 pages. I didn't think I was gonna turn it into a book, and then somehow it did it. I think it's 131 pages, and I think that's been the best part, is just connecting with my favorite people and making it the best it can be. So it definitely wasn't just me, 100% a team effort. I talk about the team first mentality in the book. So I'm just grateful for all those people.
That's awesome, man, that you were able to do that and put it all together. And was it like, did you have to cut some out of it, or did you kind of just come up with the right amount?
That's a great question. I think it definitely started off as me having these like 14 principles or 14-ish kind of things, like the most important, consistent ones that I could basically, because in the book I break down one team per each principle. So it's not like all my thoughts. It's like Villanova University in Virginia and Swarthmore men's basketball and Tufts women's basketball. So the best teams in the country. So I picked one of them that did it consistently. And then it started off, like I said, 20 pages, and then went to 40. And slowly, as I add more people look at it, it just added more. And one of my friends, who was a Division I player, and she coached as well at the Division I level, she was like, "Hey, I really think you should do the player section." And in the back of my head, I was like, I think I'm going to, but I really was exhausted. Like I'd wake up, like since June 4th, I started writing it. So it only took me a few months, but I've been doing research for 8 years. But she was like, "I think you should add the player section." And I was like, "Oh, like, this would take me so much longer to do," but it was so worth it because now it appeals to so many more people. And I'm actually speaking for my leadership consulting with a women's lacrosse team and a women's soccer team. So I guess it's, connecting and resonating with a lot of other coaches. And one of the women's lacrosse coaches was like, "Hey, that UConn warm up is awesome. Like our team just like doesn't do it. And we talk about it all the time. So maybe you can be the reason to like help them actually listen." So that's really cool as well. So that's kind of the process that I went through.
That's sweet, man. I love you're expanding the horizons and you're like trying to talk to like different people. That I love it, man. I love it. You're able to touch a lot more people, communicate with a lot more people.
I appreciate it.
I think that you being able to inspire others to write books is pretty sweet too, because I mean, I'm not really a writer, but I used to be the type that was like, what if I double space it? What if I do 2.5 font to get my 20-page paper done? I'm going to do 2.5 instead of double spaced, So I was never like the one that just loved to write. But I think it's incredible that you were able to do that and you've done it now. And there's more to come, I'm sure, but help them up. You can get it right now. Did I see there's a way they can order it and then get you to sign it?
Yeah, so if they want to reach out to me, my Twitter is Dan Horwitz 1, DanHorwitz, and the number 1, and I can just send them the link to the signed copy. But yeah, it's been great, the support. I did some local deliveries here in my hometown and just dropped them off at my baseball coach and my 10-year-old basketball coach, just because you're a part of everybody you meet. And I was just, my thank you section, I have my book right here actually, is like 3 pages long. So it's like my team. And so this is like my quotes. And then this is all thank you. And then these are like the special shout outs on this end. And so, and like all of us, we've had experiences that weren't the best. So I ended saying, like, for all the bad basketball experience I've had, you helped write this book more than you know, because it kind of taught me the things that, that don't go into a winning culture. So yeah, very thankful. Like I said, I like to include a lot of people. So definitely a team effort.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Quote it. Give us 1 or 2 of those quotes. We do a quotes of the show. Every episode we talk about something, a quote that impacts us or something we've heard lately. So give us 1 or 2 of your favorite quotes. It can be from the book. It can be something that motivated you to write the book, but just give us a quote or 2 that has impacted you.
I would say nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And, you just kind of mentioned, like, what kind of motivated me to write the book. It was a dedication to my dad, who he passed away 4 years ago, right going into my senior year of my college basketball season. And, that was definitely tough. But he was the one that kind of, like you said, you're not a writer. I'm definitely not a writer, but I just had a message of positivity. I know X Factor, like talking about this show and being positivity. And that's, I share it back there, says positive vibes. So I just think, that quote is you just have to let people know you care about them. So as a coach, letting them, you care about them as a person and not just as a player. And when you do that, I think amazing things can happen. And then the other one that I wrote down, I just want to make sure I quote it correctly, is there's no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. And, the title of the book is Help Them Up. My twin brother, Ben, he's the story I love is he was a manager at Syracuse and then the grad assistant the past 2 years. And we play pickup all the time. And he gave me a great pass. He got the rebound and I went all the way down the court and got fouled and fell on the ground. And he was the farthest person away and he sprinted all the way down. And he like cut somebody off on our team to make sure he was the first person to pick me up. And so, I've had that in my life since, the womb, as I said, we're roommates. So that's my twin brother. And so that's where the title of the book comes from, is Help Them Up. So just lifting people up, whether it's their spirit or physically helping them up. And I just think that really shows camaraderie and unity and having someone's back. So those are my favorite 2. I love quotes. So if you guys want to share any as well, I'd love to hear.
X Factor, give us something good.
B minor, you're going to love my quote today. And it's very fitting with what I got going on. B minor, my quote is live like a cowboy. And my second one is yeehaw. You know why, right?
I've heard rumors that you might have written and are going to perform country music.
Yeah. And Dan, I'm going to the studio tonight actually to record. It's me and my roommate, Jason Malonga. He's also a walk-on at DePaul. He's my best friend, and we are making a country. It's like Old Town Road kind of song, but just know it's about to hit the billboards #1, at least probably for longer than Old Town Road. And just wait on it, man. Just wait on it. But tonight is the night we go to the stew. So live like a cowboy and yeehaw, because those are the 2 things that I'm doing right now. I am yeehawing. I don't know what that means, but just know I'm yeehawing.
Yes, please share that after. I love country music. I love anything with that genre. So let's go.
It's gonna be fire.
I'm just trying to pick. I have a little list, and I'm like, there's just so many that are just, happiness is not by chance, but by choice. Let us make our future now, and let us make our dreams tomorrow's reality. The most wasted days is one without laughter. I love laughter, and my daughter loves laughter. And when I hear little Maggie laugh, there is nothing like that little girl's laugh. It's infectious in the most amazing, contagious way possible. So laughter, there's just so many quotes that I have a list. Favorite gift I ever got. I love a good gift. My brother's given me some great ones. Tickets to the Final Four one year for Christmas, and it happened to be the year the Ducks and Gonzaga made it. I've given him autographed books by Coach K, customized, personalized to him. But my dad for my high school graduation gave me a deck of cards, a box of cards. And when I opened the box, the deck of cards, every card was an ace. And on every ace was a different motivational quote. And 52 aces, the first one said, Brant, the ace is the best card in the deck, and you're the best son a dad could ask for. And then he said, a father's love, it's not a sometimes thing, quoted some country song. And then on the top and bottom of each ace was a motivational quote. And we've had some of them where you never wrestle a pig. That's one of my favorite ones that I got from my dad, because you'll both get dirty, but the pig will love it. So that deck of cards is one that I've always taken with me. And so some of the quotes that I've pulled out have been on that, but that was a pretty awesome gift from my dad. So you know how we end this thing. We can wrap this up. Will, do you know how we end this? Have you ever seen us end it this way?
Oh, yes.
You know it. So we end it like this. If you're going to walk,
you're going to walk on.
Walk on.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You know it.
That's perfect.
Nailed it. Let's go. Wrap that up.